name is Sarah. I'm writing this to warn others, but I hardly understand it myself. I wish I'd seen it sooner, you know? But then again, how could I? It all seems so innocent. I live with my parents, and used to live with my 2 siblings. My brother Tom was the oldest. He was 16. I was in the middle, being 10. The youngest was my 6-year-old sister, Sadie. A few weeks ago, Sadie had made up an imaginary friend. It seemed pretty normal and innocent, right? Should I have been worried? I believe she said his name was Laughing Jack? Yeah, that was it. She said he was a clown, and that name made sense to me. I didn't really start to worry until I saw Sadie drawing this Laughing Jack. He was completely colorless. Creepy, actually. All black and white. And next to him, she drew a girl. A girl in a black and white outfit with stitches at her joints. She was holding a knife. It wasn't normal for girls to draw those kinds of things, so I chose to investigate further. I asked Sadie, "Who's this?" Sadie immediately gasped and snatched the drawing away from my hands. She looked around the room, and she smiled and whispered, "It's a secret. Can you keep a secret?" I nodded yes, so Sadie continued. "Her name is Nightmare. I thought it sounded kind of scary at first, but she's really nice." I also thought it sounded rather off, but this didn't seem like something Sadie could make up. At the time, I thought Sadie had watched Tom play one of his creepy computer games. I'm the kind of person who can trust with a secret, so I went on with my day without saying anything about Nightmare to my parents or brother. I really regretted that. If I had said something, maybe things would have turned out differently. But moving on. That night I was woken by a strange noise. I got up and opened my bedroom door. I guess Tom had also heard the noise because he was standing in the doorway of his bedroom, which was across the hall from mine. He was holding a baseball bat. Aluminum one, I think. He motioned for me to stay and look down the hall. He turned his head the other way and jumped a little. I looked down the hall as well, as to why. Standing there was, well, something rather. Appeared to be a teenager. She had short black hair and naturally luminescent green eyes. The girl was smiling with a dead stare. But there were other things about her that told me she wasn't human. One of these things were carnivorous teeth, which seemed to be able to pierce flesh. Her claws seemed to be able to do that. She also had blood-stained red lips and porcelain white skin, like a creepy doll you would find in an antique shop. Whatever she was, I didn't care. She had a butcher knife, and honestly, I don't think she needed it with claws and teeth. When I saw the stitches at her joints, I realized who this thing was. It was Nightmare, Laughing Jack's RagDoll, if you call it. She was real. Would that mean Laughing Jack was real too? If so, would he be here? I didn't know it at the time. My questions would unfortunately be answered soon. Tom walked towards Nightmare with his bat, ready to strike the slightest sign of a threat. She didn't move, not even turn her head as Tom approached. Tom nudged her with the bat, still no response. I heard him say, "Just some dumb Halloween prop. Why would someone break into our house and leave a Halloween prop? Maybe a prank?" Tom walked past her to check the rest of her house. I walked over to Nightmare out of curiosity. Checked her pulse. She had none. Her skin wasn't cold though. She looked down at me when I touched her, which nearly made me run and scream. I'm glad I didn't know. It would have been the end of me. Tom came back and saw me, but he didn't seem upset that I didn't listen to him. And there was a thud from Sadie's room. Tom and I agreed that Sadie had woken up and started playing, so I went to help her fall back asleep. Wish I had made Tom come with me. Maybe he would still be here if I did. I can't change the past. I watched Nightmare as I walked to Sadie's room. She seemed like she was dead, walking corpse. Everything was south when I went into Sadie's room. I won't go into the details about the condition Sadie was in. I'll just say that she was nailed to the wall, covered in blood. Next to her was that black and white clown, also covered in blood. I believe this was Laughing Jack. I heard something in the hall, but I thought it was Tom coming to help me. Look, the thing. The clown saw the horrified look on my face and just laughed. I looked away because I couldn't stand to look at my dear little sister, how she was. I'm glad I looked away because I'd be dead now if I didn't. Tom was down the hall, dead on the floor. The sound was Nightmare stabbing my brother and ripping his heart out of his chest. She was a foot away from me, still dripping with Tom's blood. Nightmare twirled her butcher knife and raised it, preparing to stab me. I quickly jumped back, causing her to miss, and she attempted to stab me. Nightmare just tilted her head to me and smirked sinisterly. I never forget what she sung, even though it was simple. What's it gonna be? Her voice instantly froze my blood. I heard the clown, assuming it was Laughing Jack, calling out, Nightmare, girly girl, come here, it's time to go. Nightmare looked at him and happily replied, Okay, master. She giggled as she walked towards him. I looked into Sadie's room. Laughing Jack had picked Nightmare up with one arm. She leaned on him limply, enjoying being held by him. I think Laughing Jack kissed her forehead. I'm not sure about that. Nightmare giggled again. They both disappeared in a black cloud of smoke. The cops came the next day. They were determined to believe I killed my siblings, but parents survived and they defended me. Since there was no evidence against me, I wasn't charged with Tom and Sadie's murders. That's my story, if you can believe it, or say I'm making it up, whatever floats your boat. Either way, here's my warning. If somebody you know mentions a friend named Laughing Jack, just call the police. If you see one of his RagDolls, don't look away. It may be the last thing you'd ever do.